Live from New York, it's Ask an Engineer.
Hey everybody, we missed you so much. It's been a whole week since we broadcasted live at ya.
And we skipped a week of normal Ask an Engineer because last week we had Popular Mechanics, special guest Jerry, talking about the history of popular mechanics, the latest issue, April issue, with all the top 25 innovators in the U.S.
Makers.
You were one of them. Congratulations, Lady Ada.
Yeah.
And now we're back to our
And then the week before then, we were gone.
Yeah, and now we're back
we'll
to
talk about that.
our regularly scheduled program. Today is a bunch of photos from our trip and new products and more.
Okay.
So, on tonight's show, are you ready?
Yep.
The code is new Apex. That's like new and new products and Apex, new Apex.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to talk about what's on the show and tell. We are going to talk a little bit about Adafruit learning system. That's coming up.
Just a tad.
Just a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about Apex.
Apex.
That's right. That's
it's a new idea for a new horizon.
That's the event we went to. And then we're going to have a lot of new products. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to have a trivia question. All that and more on Ask an Engineer.
It's going to be a jam-packed show. We got to we got to run through this show.
There's a lot of stuff going on here. Okay. So let's pay some bills. The code is new Apex.
Okay. It's a nice big code.
Yep.
Nice font.
Yep. Just a reminder, we take Bitcoin. So if you have Bitcoin, you can use it. You get to use your virtual currency, your cryptocurrency. And I think cryptography is totally, safe and secure. There's no way like all the web servers have some like weird issue. It's all totally okay to use all these things.
You see the crypto is okay. It's the implementation of the crypto that's not okay.
Yeah, today's by the way,
coding's hard.
By the way, for the folks who are wondering, Adafruit is not affected by Heartbleed. Our servers are all fine. So
that's right.
We did a blog post.
We were not running a version of OpenSSL that was vulnerable.
That's right.
So I mean, change your password if you'd like, but you do not have to worry about that being a problem. I mean, I'm sure in like 3 weeks we'll find something like the entire internet is completely screwed because like everyone wants to one-up each other, and now you got to one-up this. But as of that one, not a problem.
Just a reminder, we're still running our free promotion: $200 for UPS Ground, $100 a free Adafruit Perma Proto sent to you. People really like these little carrots as you go into the store, and as you probably noticed, we have a newly designed website.
We do?
It's very easy to add things. People are adding more things to cart than ever and more orders than usual. So we did it.
And we are constantly tweaking, improving, and doing great stuff to the site. You will see it slowly, as you can imagine, releasing 4 simultaneous websites at the same time is incredibly enjoyable.
And pay taxes, and we bought some new equipment.
And buy some new equipment.
Well, before that anyways. The show and tell, Lady Ada, is every single week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have people around the world showing their projects, and these are really great projects. Lady Ada, what was on the show and tell?
We had some fun people on the show and tell, some that we've seen, some that we have not seen. Chris Young is back. He's been working on usability technology for his house. And he's working with the Pinocchio, which is a mesh networking platform that was a Kickstarter that was just released. And it uses 802.11.4, which is basically XB, but it's built into an Atmega chip, which is kind of supported by a version of the Arduino IDE. So he's basically making a mesh network around his house so he can like send and receive data easier than what he was using before, which was IR. XB was kind of expensive and maybe a little bit more complicated to use. Tony DeCola came by with his smart measuring cup. He got a liquid level sensor from the store. We have these liquid level sensors. And he got one and put one in a graduated cylinder to make a smart measuring cup for his smart cocktail technology. He's like a forefront leader. He's like a thought leader, drink leader in the smart drink botics.
And if you watch the
industry.
show and tell really close, you'll see a cat stand up on its hind legs and
operate an oscilloscope. It can use a tectronic scope. It was
only
amazing.
on the show and tell from Adafruit will you see things like that.
It even knew like how to select AC or DC coupling. This is a super smart cat. Okay, Keith came in and showed a really cute MIDI box, and it's a little handheld box that looked like it was laser cut with these capacitive touch pads. And using that, he sends MIDI data to his computer, I guess through USB. I didn't actually see if there's a cable. And uses an accelerometer as well, so it's capacitive touch for the notes, and then motion does the velocity for the MIDI notes. And it actually gives it a kind of a cool sound because it's not just like the static, boring, like note on, note off. It kind of moves and changes with how you hold it and shake it. So I thought that was kind of neat. It was actually kind of beautiful looking and beautiful sounding. Robert Brown came by and told us all about his CNC conversion for a lathe. He got a little mini lathe for turning graphite. They make graphite tools at his work, and they guess they didn't want to shell out for a CNC controlled lathe. So they're like, hey, here's a mini lathe. And they're like, hey, Robert Brown, you want to like CNC this with Linux CNC? And he's like, I guess so. And he showed us this really incredible conversion with these huge stepper motors and this like hardcore ball screw. And it's just like this totally insane CNC conversion. It's a really awesome project. If you're into CNC, I know you've probably seen a bunch of CNC mills, but it's a little rarer, less common to see a CNC lathe conversion, so go check that out. Yeah. And then finishing up, Kevin Osborne came by and he showed us previously a Raspberry Pi controlled photo booth that uses like a big red button. And this time around, he turned into postcard maker that auto-generates postcards, I guess prints them out, and you can mail them to people. And he's going to be bringing that to Maker Faire Bay Area.
Okay.
So I got through this pretty fast. So, all those people.
All participants on the show and tell get an S-in on the show and tell ticker. If I
Why don't you let me do this?
The words are not coming out today.
Everybody who's on the show and tell gets an As Seen on Show and Tell sticker. It's this vinyl sticker over here. About this big. It's super cute. You got to get on the show and tell if you want this sticker. You can collect as many stickers as you want. And
how do they get on the show and tell later?
They can get on the show and tell by going to our Google Plus page at plus.google.com/+Adafruit and posting in our show and tell thread and saying, hey, I want to be added to the show and tell circle so they can be added to the many hundreds of extremely interesting and attractive people who show up every week to show off their awesome electronics and costume and other projects.
That's right.
Every Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Okay.
Every Wednesday. I'm not on Saturday. Every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Actually, Saturday. I'd be asleep.
So we have a couple quick things that we wanted to announce. We're going to go into our new site launch. We actually launched like 4 sites, and we did a lot of interesting things. I'll just briefly talk about it.
Okay, briefly talk about it.
Yeah. One, we're so proud of our dev team and actually everyone in the whole company that makes all this possible. We took on something really ambitious. We've been working on our new Adafruit site, Learn site, and accounts management and forums and our blog and lots of things for about a year. And eventually you have to launch. And once you launch, then you have to quickly do some updates, some changes, get feedback from customers, test it on everything that maybe you just didn't even dream of testing it on.
Well, there's always the Slackware Linux running Opera.
So
all the things you can test easy.
Yeah, what we launched was the new Adafruit.com. And we took some creative risks. If you're someone who's watched Adafruit for a while, you know that
we're not... There's quite a departure.
Yeah, we're not scared to kind of push technology as far as possible, and not only in hardware, but also web technology. So it's a responsive site. You can look at it on any website.
Works really well on mobile.
Yeah.
We see a lot. We see the number of people who are accessing our site and Learn system on mobile devices increases month to month.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make a site that would look good on both mobile and desktop.
Yeah, and so we have a lot of stuff planned. This is just the first start of something really big. One of the things that people who know us, we spend a lot of time and resources on photography. We think Lemore's designs and the electronics that we do here at Adafruit are beautiful, and they should be displayed in the best way possible. And we have a fantastic design team, and I think this is one of the few times where there wasn't compromises because of sales and marketing saying, hey, put a like button on everything and
Yeah.
put social media graffiti all over the place and put a share thing here. We actually wanted it to be the best possible experience. And so
You don't need an ad blocker when you look at Adafruit or any Adafruit property
Yeah,
because
we'll never have ads.
Adafruit.com and its sub-properties will never have ads.
So the other thing that we're really proud of is if you just, look at the site and cover up the Adafruit logo, every bit of it could only be Adafruit. It can only be from Adafruit, and it's very
Yeah.
recognizable from the photos to the illustration style to the way things are even copywritten.
Yeah.
So we also launched a blog. The blog's going to be one that I'm going to be spending a lot of time on. So this is one of the first times that I got to kind of let creative people do what they wanted to do, and I just got out of the way.
Yeah.
And the vision that I wanted to kind of point towards is like, so I started Hackaday, and I got to do some risky things with that. Engadget, I got to do some neat things, and then Make Magazine, when it was just me on the blog, I got to do some things. But there was always some really big things I wanted to do with publishing online. So all of that stuff you'll be seeing soon. Right now, blog is normal, lots of big photos though, and if it's on a mobile device, you can spin down and pick your favorite story, and it expands. But some very interesting and cool things soon. The learning system got a giant upgrade as well. So the Adafruit learning system is where we put all of our tutorials and more. And this is one of the really good examples of this could only be something from Adafruit, and this is only something that our community could really make shine. So
Yeah.
a lot of the best guides that we have are from people that aren't working for Adafruit yet, and they can contribute. So we have to make a great authoring tool behind the scenes, and it has to look great and work great. So this is the new learn.adafruit.com. And for the folks who use the site, you'll also notice a few other things. The accounts and how everything works together is one of the hardest things for companies to deal with. Usually you have a forum account, a store account. You got
We had 250,000 store accounts and I think 50 to 100,000 forum accounts.
Yeah, sure.
And we had to merge them
Yeah, and so that's intense.
securely and safely so that people could access both from either without making everybody re-sign up.
Yeah.
So this was a quest, but I think one that went extremely smoothly so that we have one login for both so that we can have it be more secure because we only have like one server that handles all passwords, and also we'll be able to have stuff like future services that we provide, you'll have a login for.
So one of the things you can do now is you can check out as guest. And the other thing, if you eventually want to, and it's probably in your best interest, if you make an Adafruit.com account, you'll be able to do so many things across all of our sites that we currently have. And then we're releasing a lot of things. And the only thing I can say right now is if you look around the maker world and even the professional development world, what's really hard to do online if you have devices and you want them to communicate with maybe other devices or publish data or log data or whatever, we're working on something that we think is as important and as big as our learning system.
Also a cat dating site. No.
Yeah.
That's really lonely.
Yeah, and then I guess lastly, our customer support is really important to us. In fact, it's what we're known for. And so what we wanted to do is just change the way people use forums. And forums are usually really ugly. They don't look well. You can't really read them on a tablet. Lots of people read them on a tablet. There's no responsive forum systems really out there that adapt to the different screen sizes and devices. And we also wanted to strip out everything that wasn't necessary. Every forum package has like, put in your ICQ account.
I love ICQ.
Yeah.
Is this still around?
I think it's all AOL now. I don't think you
Okay.
can actually, I think maybe you can. But there was just, it's very hard to say no to stuff, when it's just all in there. So we actually started and made a clean slate. So you'll see some interesting stuff with forums soon.
Yeah, we think it's a lot. It's a
Yeah.
lot cleaner, and also because we basically gutted out so much stuff, we actually can improve speed time. Right now, it's not super fast because we don't have all the caching and acceleration because we wanted to launch
we're
and
still
get it
working on
out,
that.
but. We were limited in how fast we could get the site to load and respond because we were stuck with this gigantic PHPBB and Zencart backend that we couldn't separate ourselves from. And now that we've separated ourselves from it a lot more, we'll be able to do better profiling and speed things up and improve load times, and be smart about like what kind of device you're using. Like image sizing is all smart now, and like smart. And I think the blog's also a lot cleaner, and the fonts are bigger. Everyone's screens are huge now. That the fonts haven't been growing with it.
Yeah, there's some really cool web technology things going on with fonts and responsive websites. And if you look at the really great sites out there, design is important. And for us, we're very lucky because we're not just trying to design for a bunch of text or for some random news stories. We're actually designing for products.
Yeah.
And
we have a lot of space because there's no ads, but still, I mean,
no ads, and we just want to have the best possible experience. So there's nothing like it online right now that I know of that's an electronic site. And so, anyways, enjoy the site. We're going to be going through a lot of the features and more. But you guys are in for some good surprises.
You'll see it slowly move and adapt as we fix things and also improve usability and speed it up and all that good stuff. So this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
So although I'm not going to do a Time Travel Tuesday, I did want to pretend to do one. So last year we went to the Apex Expo.
Yeah.
In fact, that was the last time you and I we were on a plane.
Yes.
The last time we were on a plane, besides like 2 weeks ago, was
a year and 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, was Apex Expo. We went to Vegas and we had a little tiny pick and place.
No, it was in San Diego.
Sorry, San Diego.
Yeah.
A little tiny pick and place that we had in our apartment that we then brought to the Adafruit factory. And we went and got a Samsung machine, and it really changed the nature of the company and allowed us to do a lot more cool designs. So that was a year ago. So this year we decided to go to the Apex Expo. And the Apex Expo is
a new idea for a new horizon. It was in Vegas this time. Next year it's going to be back in San Diego, which is great because I like San Diego a lot more than I like Vegas. But we went to Vegas for a couple days. We went there for 2 days. We didn't actually go to any of the meetings of education because we're not like on any IPC groups or anything, and none of that stuff. We don't do contract manufacturing, or we don't do cell phones. So a lot of the talks were for cell phone makers, like detail stuff like that.
Yeah.
And we went there for 2 days, and we spent some time with Adafruit people. We took a lot of photos, and we got to check out all the machines. And the nice thing is that we now have so much space, and we also, because we've been doing so much more stuff, we have more ideas of what we need. Before we're like, well, we just need a pick and place, but now that the pick and place, we got a pick and place, we're like, okay, well, what kind of oven or selective soldering machine, or like what technologies can we use to speed up our production? Because we have a fairly large production group now. We have like 7 people in production, fabrication, 7, 8 people.
Yeah.
It's quite a lot of people. Running the pick and place, packaging, cutting up boards, soldering, whatever it needs to do to get all these ideas out. And we release like 1 or 2 new pick and place products per week. So sometimes on a good week, 3 or 4. So it's important to have a really good process. I want people in production to have like a really smooth, easy job where they have all the tools they need.
Okay. So
with that,
I'm going to start the show here. The first thing I wanted to show was a video. And this is a video of a flying probe. So just watch this.
Okay.
It's going to go very fast, and then we're going to keep going. So this gives you a taste of the things that you could see at Apex. Lady, what is this thing doing?
I think this is a flying probe tester, and it's testing a double-sided board after PCB manufacturing to make sure that there's no shorts, no opens, no badly plated holes. So this is a cool, fast machine.
Okay. And I'm just going to go into speed mode so we can go through these.
That's a stencil.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. You can see this golden light cutting through this stencil with like QFNs. They have like a
and by the way, all
North
these are on our
American.
site. If you just search and look for Apex Expo Adafruit, and you'll see all of the posts.
So these are some stencils. So we have stencils made, and a good stencil is super important once you get to 0.5 and 0.4 millimeter pitch. So these are all these stencil companies showing off their stencils.
And
some ovens. We're looking at maybe getting a bigger oven.
so we put a Lady Ada for scale for all these. And if you are interested in this equipment, every single one of these, we have a detailed link of what we're looking at. So we're looking at giant reflow ovens. We're also looking at selective solder machines. And so this is one here. And I'm going to...
this is the
ACE one.
This is the ACE KISS 102.
Yeah. And then here is a quick video. So selective soldering.
This is just showing what would be happening. It's not running
It's not
hot.
actually soldering,
Yeah.
but normally would be.
But it
Maybe solder
sits
coming
in
out
this
of that and soldering it up.
conveyor and then see that golden thing moving, there's a little, if it was full of solder, there would be a fountain of solder that would solder pins. So I just bought some, PCBs to test. So a selective soldering machine basically does through-hole soldering. We already do surface mount soldering by using a stencil machine with one of those stencils to put paste down, to pick and place, places all the surface mount components, and then the reflow oven melts the solder. But if you have through-hole soldering, especially when you cannot get a surface mount version of that component, or you need to be very mechanically strong, or for cost, like sometimes a capacitor, a rail-edge capacitor is much cheaper if it's through hole. You want to use maybe selective soldering because that will let you basically solder all the pins very fast and at very high quality. The only thing about selective soldering is it requires nitrogen. Kind of sucks.
Yeah. So when we make a decision, you guys will know. So we're getting quotes and looking at different machines.
Yeah.
Quick, gonna go through these.
Post your favorite selective soldering machine in the comments.
We use Met for our stencils, and Lamore was able to meet the person, one of the founders.
This
of the
is
company.
Bill, yeah.
Yep.
I email Bill all the time with my stencil files, so that's how big a stencil is. Now that we have a stencil machine, we have like 29 inch by 29 inch stencils,
Yeah.
and Met has done an excellent job with really, really good pricing. We get tons of stencils from them. We get like 3 or 4 stencils a week. Actually, right now we're re-getting all of our old stencils in this new format, so we're getting like 10 a week.
Yeah.
And they're super fast, high quality, and they use like a laser to cut it. They nano coat it. Our yields are like 100% now because of these great stencils.
Yeah.
Thanks, Matt.
Next up, this is the selective soldering
That's
machine.
the selective soldering machine
that
from
you
the
saw
video.
before. Yeah. So this is the Ace KISS, it's called. And here's Lady Ada pulling out the
Loading it
board.
in. So this one is an inline version.
Yeah, so one of the things we get to decide is we want to do batch or inline. And batch, you just walk over and you put them in, take them
Batches,
out.
you put it in and you run it, and
Yeah.
inline, it runs in line with a conveyor system. We're probably going to get batch if we were going to get one of these, but you're
we'll
there,
see.
you can check out the conveyor system, why not?
Next up, Lamar got to meet her favorite solder paste manufacturer.
This is the president of Antec,
Yeah,
which makes
there she is.
the wonderful LF4300 solder, which we use exclusively here at Adafruit.
Yeah.
It is some really great solder. I mean, I don't know, maybe for what we're doing it doesn't matter as much, but I really like the LF4300. It's lead-free, it's pretty tacky,
Yeah.
so things stick to it very well. We get it in little tubs. We go through a tub a day, and I love this stuff.
Yeah.
It's great.
Okay.
Nice work, Amtech.
Another oven. So this is a
SMTech.
SMTech oven. These are super cute. They're a smaller oven. They have little rails.
This is adorable. So this does rails. So it has adjustable rails that can grow and shrink. And our current oven has mesh. It doesn't. It has a mesh belt. So you actually put the PCB down on the belt, and it looks exactly like those bagel toasters at the toaster place, the bagel place.
Oh.
But with the rails, you can do double-sided boards.
So 2 quick
What?
questions.
What?
I'll answer one of these. So what if you have components on both sides? For ovens, you'd get one with rails.
Yeah, so this
Yeah.
has double-sided capability because it holds it from the edges. The rails grip it from the side as it feeds through instead of a mesh where it holds it from the bottom. You can still do double-sided with a mesh, but you have to put spacers
Yeah.
so that it sits above a little bit so
And
it doesn't
then
get in the way.
when the solder ovens heat up, is it infrared, gas, quartz element, or something else?
I believe that they're infrared, and then they use fans to the
convection,
convection. I'm not 100% sure. We used to have an IR oven. I don't know right now what our oven uses, but you know what? If you go to the websites for all these oven places, they'll have specs for exactly what heating element they use.
Okay.
They usually use convection, though. They use air
Next
convection.
up, this was a pick and place
is a beast.
that we were looking at. It's a Europlacer. It's basically 2 pick and places in one.
There's 2
And
gantries.
it's super fast. This is a monster machine.
And it's this lovely blue color.
Yeah.
So this is a Europlacer. We were looking at another pick and place. This Europlacer is the Illino or something. I'm trying to remember the Eno or Unino. I don't remember. You can kind of see the name a little bit. It is ultra fast, high speed, high flexibility, pick and place. It was suggested to us to look at by Jan from Palolu, so we checked it out. This is how big it is. You can see it's enormous. It's like the size. I think even Keitan was saying it's the size of like a Tokyo hotel capsule.
Yeah.
Where you can sleep in this. Like a little TV and it's your home.
We're gonna have to speed it up, Lady Ada. We got
Speeding it up.
a lot of stuff. Okay, this is a little circuit board cutter. So if you're looking to cut circuit boards,
Yeah, it depanelizes.
yeah. And here's a little video.
Cut the panel. How are you doing here?
And that's how easy it is. Next up, we saw little things like flexible circuit boards. cute.
It is cute.
We stopped and saw our friends at Hacko.
Yes.
Then we went and looked at another giant oven. This is Heller. By the way, Heller makes the biggest ovens in the world. They're the standard.
They're the standard. They're one of the most popular oven makers. And yeah, we were just looking at, what is like a 7 or zone oven. How big would it be? Would it be able to fit in our place? How much power does it need? So we're like looking around because we will eventually have to upgrade our oven. So this is a good time to look at all the different options and compare them.
Yeah, and all these things weigh, tons, by the way. Next up, this is a batch selective solder machine.
Yes, this is by, I don't remember the name of this company.
This is a really cool, weird thing. That
this is the printer.
It's a 3D inkjet printer, but it's for solder paste.
That's right. This is a solder paste printer. So instead of using a stencil, what you do is it actually has a syringe with a paste head in it. It inkjet prints paste onto your PCB, so you never need a stencil. And it can do, apparently, like high precision components. And we were actually hanging out there with 3D Robotics, and they were looking at this machine.
Yeah. And then next up, this is a My Data. This is another pick and place machine that we're looking at. A lot of people really like these and they tend to stick with them. We looked at these last year. We also looked at the Juki and then the Samsung, and we got a Samsung. We went back because they have another one, lots of upgrades. So very interested in it. This is a oven. This is by
DDM
Novistar. Cute little oven. We're getting quotes. Here is a pick and place machine from Panasonic that
this is the A100.
It's A100,
yeah.
And it reminds me of the Samsung in a lot of ways. Very similar approach. This is another selective solder machine.
This is the RPS selective solder machine.
Yeah. And then Lamore decided to do her booth duty, and she went to the Samsung booth. And
this is my best model shot.
Yeah. And we looked at the Samsung 481.
This is my sultry look for the Samsung.
So for those playing at home, we have the Samsung
42. The
41 is actually even faster.
I know. They don't name them right. The 41 is actually faster than the 42 because the 41 has 10 pickup nozzles instead of 6. So it can pick up an extra 4 components at a time. So it's, if you basically doesn't have to do as many back and forth. Has one gantry still, but it's basically the same size as the 42, just a different head, and the software's a little bit different as well.
Yeah. So the other thing is, as I mentioned before, we have a Samsung 482. The 481 is looking pretty good, and I guess we can announce it on the show. We bought it.
Wow.
Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah, we bought another 41.
Yeah. We bought another pick and place
I couldn't help myself. I couldn't resist. The nice thing about this 41 is basically it's the same software, same feeders, same components. So the programs are the same as well. It's basically identical, except it's just a little bit faster. So when you do the optimization for the pick and placing, it just tells you the feeder's going to a slightly different location. So this would go to line with the 42 to basically double our speed. Normally, if you get 2 pick and places, you don't actually get twice the speed. But because this one's a little bit faster, I think it'll make up for it. We'll actually get 2 times as much throughput. And we got them to toss in some scheduling software, so we'll be able to schedule jobs. So what happens is, instead of having 2 pick and places place the exact same parts, you have one pick and place half the parts, and the other pick and place pick up the other half. So half the board is done on one machine, half the board is done on the other machine. Usually one does, like the resistors and the capacitors, so like the 41 would do that because it has smaller nozzles, but more of them. And then the 42 would pick up the larger components such as chips or connectors or whatever. So that if the software is good, it will balance out exactly how much goes on each one to make it so it's exactly 50%. Because the software feeds, it tells it it asks the pick and place how long did it take you to do this, and then it adjusts it until you get perfect throughput, because you don't want to have the board waiting at any point for one machine to finish with the other.
So right now, when we kind of compare what other folks are doing in our industry, the Samsung was so fast that sometimes it looks like we may be able to manufacture twice as fast, or maybe a third. There's lots of different things that we're seeing that worked out really well. So we decided to get another one. And from what I understand is once we get them, 9 months later, we'll have little tiny pick and places.
That's right.
You can breed them.
We will be breeding them.
Yeah. So, okay. Next up. So that's our big news from Apex. Other little things. This is another selective solder machine. Looking
Yeah,
at
let's look at
it,
more.
we stopped by the Speedline booth and we looked at the same machine that we actually bought. So this
I already
is
have
the
this
stenciler
machine.
we have.
I
Yeah.
have the machine already, but this is another one. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, wait, you only need one stenciler because the stenciler is actually quite fast compared to the pick and places. So we're going to
Yeah.
continue with one stenciler because it's an excellent high-speed stenciler.
Yeah.
But then 2 pick and places and 1 oven.
Yeah.
There's another oven.
And another big oven. And then the other thing that we did is we visited Pololu and we chatted about future products and ideas and all sorts of stuff going on in the maker world. And here's Lamore and Jan.
Hey, Jan.
And
So
they
you
have
can
a
see
great manufacturing
you can see
facility.
the Heller oven in the back. And then to my right is that light blue color, which you'll remember from the Europlacer. So this is their
Yeah.
Europlacer.
Yep. And thus concludes
Apex
Apex 2014.
14.
14. And that's Apex. That's our Apex coverage. Okay. So.
Was that a new idea for New Horizon?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you want to help us pay for some of this equipment we just bought, use the code
Oh yeah,
Apex.
we should say so. The list price for an SM481, the pick and place that we got, just because most people do ask how much it costs, the list price was it $180,000?
Yeah,
I think it's about $180,000.
It's in the end when you first start adding stuff, it's $250,000.
It can get up to $250,000. So that's how expensive a pick and place is. It can be. I mean, well, we're gonna get some discounts maybe, but
Yeah.
still, it's not gonna be like 80%
And
off.
as far as I know, no one has done a photo tour of Apex like this ever. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you can't go out to a place like that, it's a weird show because it's just giant machines for
If
professionals.
you're around next year in San Diego, I mean, it's free to attend. Like you don't have to pay to attend
Yeah,
the show,
it's
and
great.
it's so cool. It's fun to like look at all these technologies and like if you're at all a geek, I think you can see a lot of how things are really made. It's like every kind of machine is there.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start the new products later. Ada.
Okay,
We're gonna do this. Okay.
we're gonna do this thing.
Okay. Whew. Here we go. New
What do you
products.
mean we? I have to do this thing.
Yeah, new products.
I'm
Okay.
doing it.
First up, Bluetooth Low Energy. You released it. It's here.
We did
You
release
did a
it.
great job.
This was like years ago. This was 3 weeks ago. We released. This is a K-Town joint. This is the NRF 8001 from Nordic, and we really like this fairly low cost and pretty easy to use SPI Bluetooth core chip. This is a chip that basically handles the Bluetooth layer for talking to a phone, a device. Basically the client version of Bluetooth. We made a breakout for it. You can see this great breakout with very small components that we use that gigantic pick and place to place, and it has level shifting as well. So this does all the Bluetooth Low Energy stuff for you, and
Yeah.
we even have.
Let's go to the
A
live
video.
demo of something we recorded. Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's me, Lady Ada, and I'm here at the ever-busy Adafruit factory where we are currently manufacturing, kitting, and shipping your orders. But I'm here today to talk about our new Bluetooth Low Energy module. This is the NRF 8001 breakout that we just released. I'm going to be talking about this module as well as the iOS app that comes with it. Our Bluetooth Low Energy breakout features the NRF 8001, a great Bluetooth core by Nordic. We also add supportive technology around it, a level shifter, onboard antenna, and a breadboard breakout for connecting to the SPI bus. Check out the Learn tutorial to follow along and wire up this demo board. We have our NRF 8001 Bluetooth module connected up to an Arduino, a large red LED to demonstrate digital outputs, an RGB LED with a diffuser to demonstrate PWM outputs, a small tactile button for digital inputs, and a potentiometer so we can show off analog inputs. Once you've wired up your Arduino with all the LEDs, buttons, and potentiometers you like, download the Bluefruit LE Connect app from the App Store and tap Pin I/O to begin the Fermata demo. Let's begin by controlling Pin 8, which we have wired up to a red LED. Click on the Pin 8 bar, set it to be an output. Then you can have the pin go high or low to turn the LED on and off. Now we can try experimenting with the PWM outputs on pins 3, 5, and 6. Select pin 3, 5, or 6 and choose PWM mode. Then you can move the slider to set the PWM mode between 0 and 255. We can also read button inputs. I have a button connected to pin 4. By default, the pin is already set up as an input. wiring up a button whenever I press it. The app recognizes the button press and lets me know if the pin is high or low. Finally, let's read an analog input connected to pin A5. Select analog mode, and I'm twisting this potentiometer connected to that pin to make the value change. As you can see, this is the easiest way to add Bluetooth Low Energy to your Arduino or other microcontroller project. So check out the NRF 8001 in the Adafruit shop, as well as Bluefruit LE Connect in the App Store. Okay, so as you can see, we have a great iOS demo for Bluetooth Low Energy, and all that code is open source as well. It's on our GitHub repository. So if you'd like to do some Bluetooth Low Energy hacking, and especially if your project is very basic, like you just want to send data back and forth between a phone or tablet and an Arduino, we have example code for that already that does the UART data passing back and forth. So we'll have some more projects with that, but it's super popular. And this is like 20 bucks. It's a super cheap way to get into Bluetooth Low Energy, and it works really, really well.
Okay.
Nice work, Nordic.
Here's another, much like our site, a year in the making. This is the MP3 Shield for Arduino.
Yeah, this is our
the big one.
Music Maker Shield. It does, I hate to call it MP3 because it does so much more than MP3. It can do wave, FLAC, UGG, Vorbis, AAC. It also has a MIDI synth built into it. We have a VS1053, that's the name of the chip that does all the work. We have it on a breakout already, and people were like, well, we want an easier way to connect it up to an Arduino. And so I basically took that breakout and I expanded it out into a shield, and I made two versions. Now this version, if you look in the bottom corner all the way there, there's another little chip, and it says Stereo Speak 48 ohm BTL. So on the amplifier version of this board, I also include a 3-watt Class D amplifier, 3 watt per speaker, so that basically you just attach speakers of like, any size about this big or smaller, and you're ready to go, as long as you can handle up to 3 watts of power. And you can power it from the 9-volt jack. You can also use headphone if you don't want to use speakers. And the headphone is line out safe, so you can see those big capacitors next to the headphone jack. That means that it's safe to plug this into powered speakers, a stereo system, or headphones. A lot of low-cost MP3 shields or that use this kind of chip leave those capacitors off, and if you plug it into your stereo, you'll actually blow up the chip, which is kind of sucky. And it reads music off of a micro SD card, so there's a socket there. Just put in any FAT16, FAT32 formatted micro SD card in there, and just drag the MP3 files or WAV files or OGG files on there, and then use our Arduino library. It's really easy. And this shield also works with Leonardo or Mega, tested, works well, and it'll probably work with Duo as well, or Yun, although the Yun I think has the capability of doing MP3 decoding on board. So it's a really flexible all-around music player. It's a little more powerful than the Wave Shield. It's also fully assembled pretty much, just put headers on it. I can show it off real fast if you want me to just demo it.
Yeah, let's do a quick demo.
Okay. So I've got here, this is the version with the speakers. So you attach terminal blocks, and these are the speakers, and this is that SD card that I'm just going to insert, and I'm going to hit play. And you can hear it's playing out of the speakers. You can also use the bone conduction, not speakers, but the transducers that we have. I'm going to depower this so we don't get hit with the YouTube copyright music thing. So yeah, here's the chip. There's these jumpers for using with a Mega or Leonardo. This version has the amplifier, and then this version, basically the same PCB, but I just don't solder the amplifier chip on there, and it's $5 less, which is nice. If you don't mind just using either headphones or stereo, just plug in a standard 3.5 millimeter plug in there, and you got music. So it's higher quality than the Wave Shield. You can do a lot of stuff. You can do like bass and treble manipulation. Volume control is also handled on the chip. It will be pretty popular. There's also a MIDI synth. We have a tutorial about that for the breakout, and we'll have a full tutorial for the Shield soon. We were busy bringing up that new site.
Next,
so didn't finish that.
It's time to get your retro gaming on. That's right. It is the Cupcade. So this is kind of what I would like to say is another classic Adafruit project.
Not only is it classic, it's a Phil B project.
And yeah,
it's a Paint Your Dragon project.
And this is something that only Phil B could do.
This is something only Phil B could do. And this is actually a project that's been in the works for 4 years now.
Yep.
Originally, I wanted to build this with a Chumby. I always wanted a little micro arcade ever since I was 12 years old, and they had these little Frogger arcade, like little mini ones from like Tiger or whatever. I don't remember who made them, but they were like, they had them at Toys R Us. I really wanted them for my birthday. My parents didn't get them for me for my birthday, and so basically I've had this hole in my heart for like 20 years for this little mini arcade, more than 20 years. So finally, I have one. This is a lovely kit made by Phil B. It uses a Raspberry Pi and our Pi TFT, little joystick and buttons. By the way, I got the joystick and buttons for this project. This is like a long time in the works to get all these parts together. A lovely laser cut case. Couple of components just to, handle the joystick and buttons into the Raspberry Pi, and you've got a lovely little arcade that can play MAME. And we will eventually at some point show even how to play NES classic games on it. I know it works, but I don't have a tutorial for it.
So here's
show some photos.
Joust. Here's everything.
Oh yeah, you can have it be horizontal or vertical mode. When you build it, you can choose. So that Joust is horizontal mode, and then if you look at the main photo, it's Pac-Mount is vertical mode. So you pick which one you want to get the best screen.
Okay, and here is a very short video.
Adafruit presents Cupcade, featuring the world-famous Raspberry Pi computer and Adafruit Pi TFT display. They've joined forces to play classic 1980s arcade games. It's tiny, it's adorable. Take it to the pizza parlor, take it to the park. It's so incredibly cute, you might just throw up.
I still suck at these games.
Not available in stores, batteries not included, some assembly required. Side effects may include leg warmers, Bon Jovi flashbacks, and permanent 5 o'clock shadow.
Okay, but wait, there's more. So we're also working on a sticker set. This is just a preview. This is a mock-up.
That's a mock-up. That's not mock. So we're working on a sticker set, but we wanted to release. So we have the beta kit. Can I just show it really fast? The kit in the overhead.
We're gonna go to the overhead right now.
Okay, let me see if I can. Can you
Yeah. What do you want?
Let me see if I can get this to. Okay. Hold on, maybe I'll just hold it as it. So can you brighten it up a little bit?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay. So we have a little menu system. Whoa. That we wrote in curses. Nope, not the saturation. Not the contrast.
That was the brightness.
No. Yeah, but you changed the contrast.
Nope, didn't change it.
Oh really? Okay. Weird. Okay. Hopefully that'll be fine. We made a little scrolling. Selector for games. This is hard to see. So it looks through your MAME directory to find what ROMs you have. And then you can select them. And then it basically plays them on the little screen. And oh, that looks really good. And then you can add coins. And then you can play all these fun games, and it has a speaker built in, so it sounds really good. And then to get out, you just press both buttons in the front, and then you can exit back to the main menu. So that allows you to play a whole bunch of games, because it actually wasn't an easy way to select what game you wanted to play from all the menus were made for HDMI screens. It actually took a long time to get the curses code working, but Phil B attacked it with a vengeance. And we have a list of all the games that it works with. It plays Frogger, Pac-Man, Kicks, Joust, Donkey Kong, all the most popular 80s games. It doesn't play Neo Geo games. The Raspberry Pi is not fast enough to emulate it, and it can't play some of the later hardcore Sega games. Gauntlet's kind of the limit of what it can do. Anything more than that, the Raspberry Pi can't emulate fast enough. Raspberry Pi's not very fast.
So we have 30 or more things to get through. It seems. Okay. I'm just gonna. You could just say next, and I'll just blow through these if you want to just go through them fast.
Okay. This is it's just a panel mount RCA extension cable. So, it's for a Raspberry Pi or something in a case. You want to have audio or the video come out. It just allows you to panel mount RCA. It took us a long time to find this. We have panel mount almost everything else. We have even longer Raspberry Pi camera cables. These are tested and work with the Raspberry Pi camera. If you want your camera cable to be 18 inches or 24 inches long, we have those size now.
Okay. And just a quick tour of all the different...
that's the cable being used.
Yeah, that was the cable over there, but all the different...
Long.
All the different...
long.
Cable.
Longer. Longest. and then we have to curl it up to take a photo.
Yeah. Okay.
Just swap it out with the
Next
camera
up.
cable you have now for your Raspberry Pi
You
camera.
got the Music
Works
Maker
great.
Shield. You're gonna need some speakers. We got speakers.
This is actually for the, these are really big speakers. These will work, but these are 20-watt like car speakers. And we carry these for use with our 20-watt amplifier. I don't know if I even have one of these speakers hanging out here. Yeah, I mean, I can just hold it up to show how big it is because of scale. This is how big the speaker is. It's like, 4 inches or so. It has this grill that you can remove or keep on, I don't know, depending. They sound pretty good. They're meant to be used in cars, so they're very forgiving, but I would suggest putting them in an enclosure that gives it better resonance,
Okay.
more bass. And
What the heck is this thing?
an
Lady Ada?
anemometer, I actually don't know how to say this word. Anemometer? Anemometer.
Anemometer.
Okay, so this has a rotating set of cups, and then when the wind blows, it rotates this, and there's a Hall effect sensor inside, or some sort of, actually don't know exactly because I didn't open it up completely, but it outputs an analog voltage that is linear with wind speed. So if you have a microcontroller with an analog input or some way to read analog voltages, you can measure the wind speed with this up to 32 meters per second, which is pretty windy. So you're probably good to go with this for
Yeah, here's some nice
quite a wide
connectors that
range.
seem very
yeah,
weather
nice
resistant.
durable, and you can remove the connectors and then you can mount it. You have those 4 mounting holes at the bottom.
Yeah.
This is the demo one we have here. It's a pretty good anemometer.
Yeah.
Anemometer.
Okay, here we go.
Wind sensor.
You have 2 different types of keyboards, so we're just going to go through both of them.
We have 3 kinds of keyboards.
Sorry, 3. Geez, you're
3.
right.
We have a wired one. Hey, go back.
Okay. Let's go
We have a wired keyboard. This one has a USB cable on it. It's our lowest cost keyboard. This is a full-size keyboard, but it's really nice quality. It's a chiclet keyboard. We got a couple different types, and we like this one the most. It's nice and heavy. It's not like loose and flimsy. And it's USB connected, so you have to have a USB port. We got this basically for Raspberry Pi and BeagleBone people, but it works with any computer. This is the wireless version. Did you notice it has no wire? So it has a USB dongle. It's not Bluetooth. There's a little dongle that you plug into a USB port, but it looks just like a USB keyboard to the computer. It comes with batteries. Also, a very nice quality keyboard. I like the slim design, but it has nice tacky keys. They have a good feel to them. It's easy to use, and it's full size.
Yeah, there are a couple other photos.
There's one showing you plug it into a Raspberry Pi or something and use a remote. And then this one I really like. This is a combo. So this is a mouse, optical mouse and keyboard, both wireless, that use only one USB port. So this is really nice because if you want to use only one USB port for keyboard and mouse, usually you have to like get a hub or something. But this allows you to have 2 wireless devices on one. Again, both really good quality. The mouse is nice and very sensitive, has optical encoder, 2 buttons with the little flexi spring buttons, and even a little wheel in the middle. So these are actually totally fine for day-to-day use as well. They're not just like throwaway keyboards. And using only one USB port is really great if you have a BeagleBone or Raspberry Pi, because there ain't a lot of USB ports on those devices.
Okay, next up.
Piezos. This is a piezo, and this piezo in enclosure, you can mount it to things. It can beep by applying a AC voltage to it from, say, Arduino or something with a tone library, or can be used as a vibration or knock sensor, which is another use for them, because it converts voltage to vibration and like back and forth. Piezos are kind of neat that way. So if you knock it, it'll have a little voltage spike. So you can use it as both a sensor and an output. And this one is fairly large and has these mounting tabs, so it's really good for attaching to stuff.
Fully assembled Pi cobbler.
This is a T-cobbler. We've had T-cobblers for a while. Plug into a breadboard and connect up to your Raspberry Pi, and it's a really easy way to, here, so you can see here, a really easy way to get your Raspberry Pi I/O pins onto a breadboard. Now it's fully assembled. For the same price, you can get a fully assembled T-cobbler. No soldering required.
Okay.
This is a shortening Pi SD adapter. It takes a little, you can see the micro SD card kind of slotted in the side there. Go to this photo. You can see here, it's a little slid out a little bit.
Yeah.
And inside little contacts that bring it out to the main. So it's like a short version of a micro SD card adapter, which makes it lovely for use with, say, a MacBook. If you have a MacBook Air or MacBook that has an SD card slot, this keeps it from
Everyone
sticking
really
out.
likes these for Pis.
But we like them for Raspberry Pis because otherwise the SD card sticks out a lot. If you have Raspberry Pi, you're probably familiar with that. With this, it fits into any case without sticking out, which is really sweet. Less likely to crack off.
Goldie blocks with some more stuff.
This one is a dunk tank. This, I think, I'm trying to remember which skill this teaches. I think this skill teaches sort of like construction and rotating motion. So this has, I don't remember what it has. It has like, not gears and pulleys, but rods and connectors to make a sort of like a Rube Goldberg machine where you like toss something and something happens and then this dog falls into a tank of water. I guess that's the story. Just one of the other little skill sets for teaching young people how to do engineering skills.
Yep.
We have the Monk Makes sort of with a pie leaf. It's like a, we actually already had something similar to this, which is the PCB version. This version is just a piece of paper, slips over the GPIO pins on your Raspberry Pi, and just makes it easier to wire because it's hard to keep track of which pins are which otherwise. This is a connector, 50-pin connector, source mount. Not terribly useful on its own, but useful when paired with our 2.8-inch display. This is the display that we have in two. Can you go forward?
Yeah, sure.
Two. This is this TFT display that we use in the Pi TFT and also our TFT Shield. Has a resistive touchscreen on top of it and a 50-pin flex connector, which you see. If you want to use this, when people are asking, hey, we want to use this screen for our own purposes because it's a lovely screen. So we have the screen now available separately, and we also have a connector, which might be handy since you have to solder it to a PCB. We have a breakout in the store that you can use with this if you'd like.
Okay. This is just another photo of the
Yeah, it's a screen.
Okay, next up.
We have a UV index sensor. This is the SI1145. This is a UV index and light and IR sensor. It's kind of a general purpose light sensor in many ways. And also has a calibrated method for calculating the UV index based on the light sensors. Took it outside and did a couple measurements, and yeah, it actually was able to calculate the UV index correctly according to the weather. So this could be really handy if you want to do projects that measure the outdoor UV index. Good to know if it's like, time to put on sunscreen or put on a hat. Also a good overall general purpose light sensor as well, and it's a fairly good price. It's kind of a nice, Silicon Labs makes great stuff, so I'm excited to get more Silicon Labs stuff in. The UV visible IR digital light sensor.
Okay, next up.
We have, the AD8495. This is an analog thermocouple, K-type thermocouple amplifier. We have a couple of thermocouple amplifiers in. They're temperature sensors for high temperature. This is an interesting chip in that it does analog voltage out. It's quite precise, but it has an analog voltage out. So this might be handy if you're using it in a feedback loop or something, or you want to connect a gauge to it, and you just for some reason need an analog output. We already have one wire and SPI, so now we have another method. So this is from Analog. They make lovely chips. This can handle, is there a photo of the back? Shoot, I don't remember the voltages. I think it handles like negative 200 to like 700, like negative 250 to 750 degrees Celsius, I think, is the limit for this sensor. And it can, what's actually really nice, it can run off of a wide range of voltages. You can run up to like 18 volts, which is, I don't know, maybe useful in some industrial automation situations.
Yeah, okay.
We have a couple of accessories for the TNC 3.0. This is the Octo WS2811. It sort of turns into a fade candy a little bit. Fade candy is our NeoPixel driver. This is sort of the same thing, except it is just for the TNC 3.1 in general, so you can use it, and it has a little level shifter. Makes it really great for use with NeoPixels, and it does the voltage conversion from 3 to 5 volts, since you need 5 volt logic to use with the NeoPixel strips with the TNC 3.1.
Okay.
This is the audio chips. This is I don't remember the part number for this, but it's a DAC, and I think it's an I2S DAC, which I can't remember the part number. It connects also to the TNC and allows you to read WAV files from a micro SD card socket, that's that silver thing, and output it to a headphone or line out.
Okay, a couple other photos.
Yeah, can I read what that part number? I can't remember what that part number is. feel bad, but yeah. I don't know. More teensy. More teensy accessories. Okay. Can you move forward?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to do 8 things at once.
All right, we're almost done. We're almost done.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the MCP 9808. This is a really cute little I squared C temperature sensor. We actually did not have an I squared C temperature sensor, and there was a hole in my heart. So I spec'd out what I thought was the best I squared C temperature sensor we could get. And this one is quite nice. This has a typical accuracy of 0.25 degrees Celsius, which is really, really good. Most things do not get much better than half or 1 degree Celsius, but this actually has a typical accuracy of 0.25. It's extremely accurate, has a precision of 0.0625, is like a 12-bit DAC. It goes from negative 40 to positive 125 degrees C. The max accuracy is plus or minus 0.5 degrees, but for the most part, they don't guarantee 0.25, but if you look at the distribution of temperature accuracy, you'll see like 95% of the time it's within 0.25 degrees. And it runs from 3 volt or 5 volt logic, and there's 4 address pins, so you can put 3 address pins, so you can put 8 of them on a single I squared C bus. So this is kind of like the best I squared C temperature sensor I can get my hands on, and it's also very affordable.
Yeah. Okay. Almost there. A couple more.
Okay. This is the Teflon coated version of the Malone Tech E-tape sensors. This is a liquid level sensor, which if you were watching the show and tell, you'll see was used in a smart cocktail glass.
Yeah.
It says 12 inches long. You can put it, this is Teflon coated, so I guess it can be used, it's food safe. You can use it in situations where you're using chemicals. You want to measure how much chemical is in a tube or a tank. It's a pressure sensitive sensor, so it's how much pressure is being exerted on it. It can tell where, it's sensitive, so when the pressure of the liquid is pressing up against it, the resistance changes, so you can measure that resistance.
Yeah. And last up.
Oh, it's a 1K pot.
Okay.
Breadboard friendly, 1K pin channel.
Okay, and that Lady Ada is
Panel
new
mount.
products.
New.
Good work. You did it.
Yay.
Okay. So,
Yay.
for all the things that are in stock, folks, you can use the code NEWAPEX. That's 10% off everything in the Adafruit store up until 11:59 p.m. tonight. Get on it. All right.
You can get free shipping, 10% off.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff.
Free perma-proto.
I was
What?
answering questions along
What?
in the chat
What?
that people had.
Yeah.
Because I knew we wouldn't have time for questions and answers.
Did you answer them correctly?
I hope so.
I'm sure you did.
I don't know. I'm coasting on like no sleep, folks, but it's okay. It was.
Okay.
Yeah, I had to launch a website, and we
I had to do something too, I'm sure.
yeah.
All right,
It was
what
Fast and
question do you have?
Furious. Okay, we're gonna do the trivia question. We're just gonna.
Hey, if you have any more questions, you can always post them in the forums.
Yeah. Trivia
We'll get
question.
to them there.
Yeah, this is one of those rare shows where we just have to skip to the end. People want to win something. Anyways. What are they gonna win today?
They're going to win an MP3 Shield with amplifier.
Wow.
The MP3 Shield with the amplifier. So you get the nice version with the amp.
Yeah. Oh, I'll answer one more question. Can you do teardowns of other devices besides just wearables? Yeah, sure.
We will.
Yeah.
We're getting to the wearables
iFixit does really good jobs with
like
teardowns
tablets and computers
stuff
and
like
stuff.
that, but no one was doing wearables, so we're like, okay, we'll do wearables.
Yeah, do wearables.
But I don't know. Send some suggestions of something you want us to tear down.
If you send us something to tear down, we might tear down.
Okay.
Also, wearables are interesting because they have to be low power, wireless. There's battery stuff.
I'm gonna answer one question
Yeah,
and
what?
then we'll do the giveaway. I'm a Linux developer, puppy Linux developer, and I've always been fascinated with hardware, but never been able to wrap my brain around what's the best way for an adult to learn.
I think the best way is just to get one of our RDEX Arduino starter kits and just go through the exercises and you'll absorb it.
Yeah.
Just, if you've been able to learn Linux, then you'll definitely be able to learn
You're
electronics.
very lucky because if you know Linux, you can use a Raspberry Pi and do some fun things.
You can also do Raspberry Pi,
And
get a Raspberry Pi
BeagleBone.
starter pack. We have
yeah.
tons of Raspberry Pi Python hardware tutorials that are like, you add a button and then you can play an MP3 Shield.
Okay, back to what I started. Here's the trivia question. We're going to give away the Music Maker Shield. What model of Samsung did we just purchase
this week?
This last Apex? Just type it into the chat. You can type it into the YouTube chat. You could type it into the, whatever other one.
Type it into the YouTube or the Ustream chat.
And just type in
Don't
the,
send it
yeah.
by Kinesis, because we can't read your thoughts. You have to
Yeah.
type it in. What is
Whatever.
the model number of the pick and place that we just dropped a lot of money on?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Techno 6555341. This is Samsung SM41. Congratulations, Techno 6555535. Email support@adafruit.com, and you get a Music Maker MP3 Shield. Okay. That's it. That's the show. That's it.
I'm gonna play some Pac-Man.
Yeah, look. That's what it looks like when you buy a pick and place, by the way. When you do a deal, you have to shake hands. That's what it looks like. I took a photo.
That's a salesman.
Yeah.
If you wonder what a salesman looks like,
Yeah. Johnny Nichols, best salesman perhaps in the world of pick and place machines. Johnny Nichols. Okay, Lamore, we're going to get out of here. We'll see everybody
I'm gonna play. What?
next week.
Yeah.
You got through all those new products?
Yeah.
Got through the Apex coverage. Thank you, everybody out there. Special thanks to everybody who helped us test the site and customers that may have had a couple issues that we figured out and fixed
Yeah.
right away. Special thanks to the entire Adafruit team. Special thanks to all the viewers out there. And we will see everybody next week. Ask an Engineer Wednesday, 8 p.m. Show and
Oh,
tell
wait.
half an hour before that, 7:30 p.m.
Pinky got me.
And that is it. Here's a picture of a cat. And here is your moment of Zener. See you guys next week.